we read the comments. Was it the drive-thru this past week? These things happen so quickly. Maybe it was the experience last week, but we read the comments from Jim Ross. The most innocuous, unprovocative statement. Some interviewer asked him who the best wrestler in the world was in his opinion, and he, in his diplomatic way, said, boy, Randy Orton's really good, put him over in this, but a lot of people might say Omega. I can't argue with those folks, whatever, and god damn, it was like he had turned around and taken every AEW fan and just sodomized their puppy in front of them. And and then the boys, the AEW wrestlers, quote unquote, started defending publicly Twinkle Toes McFingerbang from the horrible slight that was given him by nobody. And Jericho and Hardy both had to chime in, and Jericho's, well, I've been in the ring with everyone, and I definitely know that he's the best in the world. And was it Hardy or Jericho or both that hashtagged, I stand with Omega?
I'm not sure. I only saw that briefly. I don't know who started it.
I stand with, like he's the oppressed indigenous people of Slovakia. I stand with Omega against this horrible insult and slander that Jim Ross perpetrated on him by innocuously stating a true opinion that all around Randy Orton might be the best professional wrestler in the world. But if he's not, as JR said, some people might say Harpo. He wouldn't argue with him. That's because it wouldn't be worth his time to argue with anybody that thinks that Harpo Fingerfuck is the greatest wrestler in the world. But good God, how sensitive are they? Have they all convinced themselves this? Is it the ploy because he's the EVP and Hardy wants to stay in good, and of course Jericho will suck any ass that's presented to him these days? Is it that they're worried for themselves because if people start actually getting a good close look at Harpo's work and his mannerisms and everything he does, the prissy prancing, sissy dancing, finger pointing, gesticulating, that it will hurt the whole company because they will see through this illusion that's been created that this fucking nitwit knows what he's doing? So they're doing it in a self-serving fashion to keep people from smartening up that Harpo's an idiot? What... just the knee-jerk reaction. Oh my God, no! You can't say he's not the best. On a planet with Volter on it, this fucking clown thinks he's the best wrestler in the world. What is the motivation behind that? I understand the fans, because fans of anything this silly are going to be silly in nature and overreact to anything. But the boys, they got to know, don't they? Or have they deluded themselves as well as trying to foist this onto the public?
In terms of Omega's in-ring ability?
Yes.
I mean, it really started with the boys. It started with some of those boys. I mean, I think the first people I ever heard say that Omega was the best in the world were actually the Young Bucks in an interview.
Well, of course. I mean, because what does their opinion mean, since they're what they are? I'm talking about somebody like Jericho that has been in the ring with everybody from Kurt Angle to Steve Austin to down the line.
And he's trying to hold on to his youth. He's trying to fit in with a younger crowd. He's the oldest guy actively there, and he's also the guy who's been stuck in a midlife crisis for 25 years.
But that's what I'm saying. For him to say a blatantly ridiculous statement like that this fucking clown is the best wrestler in the world, and I know the bar is lower than ever before, but still, has he deluded himself into thinking that, even though it's obviously patently, observably not true? Is he saying it just to keep sucking up to the boss and the one of the EVPs? Is he doing it self-servingly? Because once again, if people realize that this whole thing is a fucking, it's the old shell game with Omega. He's not really that good, and you can see it now that he's on our TVs every week and has been, and he doesn't want the whole company to fucking suffer for that because they've picked the wrong guy to put the belt on. What is his motivation for bullshitting? Because he, of all people, would know that's not true. I mean, is he reconciling in his mind, well, he's the best in the world except for the WWE because they're not wrestling?
I think the AEW locker room is really good when they feel an external strike at coming together and trying to fight back. I mean, that's what they do. And I mean, the other funny thing is Jim Ross is rolling this. And, I've always been open about my feelings about Jim Ross. I've talked about when I thought he was good, and I've talked about my issues with his behavior personally. But I feel he gets a raw shake in this whole thing. He was asked a simple question, gave a very innocuous answer, and all of a sudden it turns into this. Omega himself, when he tweeted out a response to this, mentioned announcers who don't know who the WWF champion is, or I forget how he phrased it from when Jim Ross made a mistake.
He had slipped. Instead of AEW, he said WWE champion weeks ago on the program.
So now Omega's taking a shot at their lead announcer.
Yeah, because he's an idiot.
Because he didn't say anything bad about him. That's the other thing. He didn't say anything bad about him. He prefers Randy Orton. That's all he said. Judge him for that. But I mean, don't attack Jim Ross for things he didn't say.
Omega is an entitled idiot that has had these goofs making over him and fawning over him and telling him how good he is, and all the fucking, goofy shit that he does can't be criticized at all. And so then when Jim Ross makes, as you said, an innocent and innocuous statement and even mentions the guy's name second, most people would say, okay, a guy that's been around the wrestling business for 50 years mentioned me second in talking about the best in the world. That's pretty fucking good. But it's, no, fuck you, fucking Harpo. You can tell some guys that you would hate from the start no matter what happened. And this fucking insufferable artistic twat is one of them for me. He's got a bad attitude and he thinks his shit don't stink. And believe me, his shit stinks. It stinks bad. But I stand with him. That's why I tweeted Hardy back. I said, it sounds more like you kneel for Omega instead of standing for him.
See, that's the thing when it's.
But he doesn't engage with me anymore.
But Hardy's like Jericho in a sense. I mean, it's an older guy trying to hang on. Yeah. And now he's kissing ass publicly to just get some brownie points. That's all that was.
See on this week's TV show when he Matt Hardy busted out into a Bob Backlund fucking Mr. Backlund fit. When he got blown off as the manager of Jane Cargill. He sounded like he was imitating Mr. Backlund. Well, you just enjoy it then. You just enjoy it. Oh my God. They've all lost their minds. I don't know if it's brain damage or a midlife crisis or both of them colliding at the same time, but they have completely lost their ever-loving minds, Brian. They've gone nuts is what they've done. And I used to think it was bad when you went nuts, but now we've got a way to make it good when you go nuts, as long as you go to nuts.com, your favorite place, Brian.
Absolutely, it's my favorite place. I'm happy to be nuts. I'm nuts for nuts.com. We just about to place another order. I'm going to get more of those chocolate-covered pretzels with the toffee on it, but also the chocolate-covered gummy bears. So popular here in this house, I have to get a second one to hide here upstairs.
Yeah, mostly normal middle-aged parents hide porn. You're hiding nuts.
I'm hiding chocolate-covered gummy bears. Even better.
Chocolate-covered gummy bears or whatever. Well, if you want to hide some nuts for the summer, if you want to squirrel some things away, you can get anything you want from nuts.com. Folks, it's the best kept secret of snavvy snackers or savvy snackers across the country. I'll do that one again. It's the best kept secret of snavvy It's the best kept secret of savvy snackers across the country, nationally, nationwide. Folks, white chocolate, toffee, cashews, bourbon pecans, honey sesame sticks. It's amazing. Healthy nuts, dried fruit, flowers, grains, high-quality foods delivered straight to your door. Kid-friendly snacks like dried strawberries, custom trail mix, plus all the raw, organic, roasted, salted, and candied nuts you can imagine, even chocolate dipped. And if you've ever had your nuts candied or dipped in chocolate, you'll know it gets sticky. But these things taste great. It's a family-run business that takes pride in getting you the freshest products, and they've got gluten-free and vegan options, and delivery is so fast. Most of the orders ship the same day. You get it the next day. It's fresher than the supermarket. All you got to do is go to nuts.com and take a look at the selection. And if you want to save some money, you text experience to 64,000. Experience, EXPERIENCE to 64,000. That's 64 with 3 zeros. And you'll get free shipping on your first order from nuts.com. Experience to 64,000. Free shipping. Terms apply. Available at nuts.com/terms.